What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. Having a wonderful, wonderful Friday. If you're out shopping digitally, if you're me, you know, the old lady's upstairs shopping vigorously online, making her plans for Cyber Monday as well, so that we can afford to get everyone, you know, a little something for Christmas. You know, the list each year seems to grow a little bit. And this year, you know, everything seems like it's more expensive and more difficult to get. And you know, it's tough out there. It's hard out there for a Christmas pimp, you know, as they say. But nonetheless, Dave Chappelle absolutely took the paddle to a bunch of high school brats who tried to demean him and call him terrible things. By the way, at the school where he was donating a large sum of money. Given that people are in a shopping spirit, I thought it'd be a good time to remind you, if you're in the market for a new PC, Meta PCs is my sponsor. They let me put them in whatever movie videos I want, and they're extraordinarily important to me, so check this out. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Meta PCs. Now, I know you're not going to run out and quick buy a brand new computer just because I ran this ad, but what I would hope is that you'll keep Meta PCs in mind for a variety of reasons, and use my promo code THEQUARTERING to save big at checkout. Look, Meta PCs offers custom configurations. It has insane parts availability. They're one of the few people I see out there with the brand new NVIDIA 3090 in stock and shipping. When you buy from them, they offer you build photos as they work along. When you receive your PC, it's ready to go out of the box. It's 100% US-based sales and support. And one of my favorite things, it's a veteran-owned business. Meta PCs is veteran-owned. One of Meta's owners has served in Afghanistan and Iraq and received a Purple Heart for his service. Meta also employs military veterans in the Meta Operations Center and also provides systems to veterans going back to school to help them re-enter the workforce all across the United States. Meta PCs also offers financing. Head on over to MetaPC at metapcs.com. Use code THEQUARTERING at checkout to save money and support my content. If nothing else, go configure a PC, build a little wish list, and when you're ready, remember to use code THEQUARTERING at checkout at MetaPCs. I know I'll be getting myself a brand new one before the end of the year. Check out metapcs.com. I'm saving up myself for a new Meta PC rig with the new NVIDIA 3080 in it. Hopefully I can get it before the end of the year. We'll see. But yeah, gamer or not, good company, good computers. Now, Dave Chappelle stands up to woke mob at his alma mater. Comedy legend Dave Chappelle had made an impromptu visit to his alma mater in D.C. on Tuesday in front of an auditorium full of 600 students. Some of them criticized him. He unapologetically defended himself. This via the Post Millennial. Comedy legend Dave Chappelle made an impromptu visit. At the end of his talk at the Duke Ellington School of Arts, Chappelle opened up the venue to questions, which is when a few of the students vented at him. While surprised by the criticism, Chappelle, whose comedy career spans 3 decades, had zero problem handling it, and he took it in stride just as he always has. According to Fox News, one student at a point shouted out that he was a bigot. Another similarly minded student yelled, "Your comedy kills!" He replies, N-words are ended every day. The media's not here, right? He fired back. To another critic, he retorted, "My friend, with all due respect, I don't believe you could make one of the decisions that I have to make on a given day. I'm a better than every instrumentalist artist, no matter what art you do in this school right now. I'm better than all of you. I'm sure that will change. I'm sure you'll be a household name soon." I actually have some more of the back and forth here. A not so welcome homecoming. We could see some of the 580 students pack the auditorium, and here are some of the questions during the Q&A session. One student stepped to the mic and called Chappelle a bigot, adding, "I'm 16 and I think you're childish. You handled it like a child." According to 2 students present, the comment was confirmed by Chappelle's spokesperson. No apologies. Chappelle responded as recalled the next day by 2 students, quote, "My friend, with all due respect, I don't think you could make one of the type of decisions that I have to make in a given day. that peeved some students who were hoping for an apology or semblance of one from Chappelle. Amazing. In response to another antagonistic question, Chappelle roughly told the student body of artists, "I'm better than every instrumentalist artist, no matter what art you do in this school right now. I'm better than all of you. I'm sure that'll change. I'm sure some of you will be household names soon." The students recalled another student in the audience shouted at him, "Your comedy ends people." And then he replied back with the media comment. One disturbed parent. The two students who spoke declined to go on record out of fear of retribution from the school. The father of one of the students, who also declined to speak publicly to protect the identity of his daughter, said, "As a parent, I would have to say I have a real problem. He was being dead serious and using the N-word on record. What kind of judgment is the school showing to allow that?" Apparently, this dad, I assume he's some white nerd, has never seen a Chappelle stand-up ever, has never heard Dave Chappelle talk, because that word is a strong part, a significant part of much of his vocabulary and vernacular. Sims, the Chappelle spokesperson, responded, "They're complaining that he talked and said the N-word. If anything, Dave is putting the school on the map. Chappelle has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for Duke Ellington and brought A-list celebrities such as Bradley Cooper and Chris Tucker to its campus." The two students who spoke to Playbook said that they were afraid to speak up at the assembly because Chappelle often laughed at the students' questions or responded with jokes. At one point, after a student left the assembly room, Chappelle singled her out by saying, "Of course, she left early." Well, I can't imagine why he might, a grown man, I don't know how old he is, probably in his 50s, these people, that's the entitlement of the modern Zoomer. They think that a guy who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, a guy who has donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to your school, really is going to come in there and be belittled by you. That is the absolute peak Zoomer mindset that it's just difficult to imagine ever, thinking that. Like, no hard feelings, it says, according to students, Chappelle seemed to soften up as he wound down. Turning to the camera, he spoke out against, crazy things some of the students had received since protesting him. The school has responded by increasing security and barring students from leaving campus during lunch. The whole tone changed, one of the students said. He said, "This is my family, and whether they know it or not, I love these kids. I don't want to hear about any of these kinds of threats. These kids don't deserve that." One student added, "He was really kind. If only he had acted that way the whole time. There's no reason to be mean to us. He was just laughing at kids." Well, I mean, you're old enough to get up and, put your, get your $400 fit on and your Yeezys and go call Dave Chappelle a bigot. Guess what? He gets to clap back at that. That's the way the real world works. And the idea that these kids were all salty that he didn't just immediately break down in tears is exactly what you would expect from these clowns. Another quote says, "Our principal was approached by several students after the assembly who were disappointed that they were not able to voice their support for Chappelle in his forum. One student mentioned that he had protested him and received all sorts of terrible things because of it, to which, according to the same student, Chappelle replied, 'This is my family, and whether they know it or not, I love these kids. I don't want to hear that any kind of stuff.' His appearance at the school was in no small doubt previously after the whole fundraiser was postponed." This via the New York Post. Of course, a controversial comedian. I don't really know. I mean, I guess you could call him controversial, but not to any normal person. Chappelle graduated from the prestigious school in 1991, spent about an hour addressing the 580 students inside the auditorium, according to Politico, before things went south during a subsequent Q&A session. The funny man has faced all sorts of claims by idiots as soon as the school seemed eager to voice their concerns. What they're really eager to do is to record it for TikTok and get some sort of lame amount of clout. Calling him childish. The guy's 50 years old. Pretty sure that's, I give him a lot of credit for even honoring these kind of questions or comments with a response. The idea that you went to this school and you're worried that Dave Chappelle used, the type of language that Dave Chappelle uses. Well, maybe you shouldn't let your kids watch his specials then, if that's what you're worried about. Not all students, of course, were opposed to his presence on campus. According to Politico, some students enthusiastically cheered as the comic took the stage to speak. Duke Ellington School of Arts is in the process of renaming its theater after Chappelle. Some students, parents, and alum are trying to block that move, which is insane. It's like, okay, well, then I'll just take my check back if you got a problem with that. Like, it's so insane to me that these kids don't even realize that, you know, they're getting high-end equipment and a high-end new auditorium or theater or whatever because of the guy, and they're going to sit there and protest against it. He writes, the school wrote, "We recognize that not everyone will accept or welcome a particular artist's point of view, product, or craft, but reject the notion that cancel culture is a healthy or constructive means to teach our students how society should balance creative freedom with protecting the rights and dignity of its members." Translation, we don't want to lose that sweet Chappelle money. He writes, "Chappelle has been under fire since releasing this. They canceled J.K. Rowling. My God." Effectively, she said gender was a fact, and the trans community got mad as heck. They started calling her TERF. "I'm Team TERF," he quipped in the stand-up special. "Gender is a fact. Every human being in this room, every human being on Earth had to pass through the legs of a woman to be on Earth. This is a fact." Well, he's not wrong, and I appreciate that he held his ground here against these Zoomer morons. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.